Hi, amazing designers. Welcome to today's class. In today's class, I'm going to be teaching you how to take proper body measurements on your clients. First thing you need to know is do not stand in front of your client so you don't make them uncomfortable, and make sure you ask them before you touch them inappropriately. So first, we're going to measure the bust. Now, the bust, the under bust, the waist, and the hip measurements are called major body shapes. Those are the measurements that are taken around the body. They help you to know the size of the person. So first, please spread your arms. Make sure you communicate with your client at every point in time. So we're going to take the bust measurements round. That's round the fullest part of the bust. Make sure you have just one finger between your client's body and the tape so that you don't add too much excess measurement to it. Then make sure it can go up and down so that you get the exact measurement. After that, you measure under the bust. That's directly under the bust. You tighten it a bit, leaving that one finger in between your tape rule and your client's body. Next, you go to the waist. You can you can either ask for your client's abdomen or ask them to tilt a bit to the side. Please tilt a bit to the side. Now, that place where the body folds, that is the perfect waistline. Stand, please. Okay, so when you get that perfect waistline, you measure it. You can ask if depending on the type of dress you're making, you can ask if you want it tight or you want it loose. If it's like a corset, a tight fitted dress, they might want it very, very tight. Or if they don't mind, you can just do it. But the thing is, know that just one finger has to be in between the client and the tape rule. Then you come to the hip line. Now your hip line, measuring your hip line is a bit tricky because it has to be around the fullest part of the hip. Now, as you measure it, you go down and come up to make sure it's comfortable while still leaving just one finger in it. When you get your measurements, that's all about the major body shapes. So after we've done that, we move over to taking our vertical measurements. I have to do that on the other side of my client. So you might prefer to do that on that side, but it's more comfortable for me on the left. The first measurement, know that all vertical measurements start from the nape of the neck. This is where all your measurements start from. So the first measurement we are going to take is the bust point. Make sure that you measure it directly where the bust is fuller. Then the next measurement is under the bust, directly under the bust. From this, don't forget that your measurements start from the nape of the neck. Then your half length. You can still ask your client to tilt to the side again. No, tilt to this side now. Exactly. Now stand straight. Then you know that your measurement, your half length is directly on the waistline. That tilting where the body folds, that's where your half length is. Then you come down to the length of the dress. This can obviously be either, if it's a blouse, it can be just here, or a dress. Now that is just basically between you and your client and the style that you're making. The next measurement we're going to do now, please turn, is our back measurement or shoulder measurement. It goes from this, there is a bone on the shoulder. So all your measurements for the back start from that bone across the shoulder to the other side of that bone. When you take that measurement, that's on how you know what one shoulder to the other is. Please turn. So another measurement that you need to take on your client is the sleeve measurement. Now it's the sleeve length or around the sleeve. So when you want to measure around the sleeve, measure around the biceps. It shouldn't be too tight. Just around the biceps with one finger in between the tip and your client. You can also measure the 3/4 length, also the same way you're measuring, and your around your wrist. Now, measuring around your wrist can be tricky because, please come up. You want it to be able to go in, you want your sleeve to be able to go in a palm, but you also don't want it to be too wide by the time it gets here. So you tell your client to fold, yes, fold your hands this way, then you measure it. Now, this way, you know that the wrist of the dress can go in seamlessly, and it will also not be too free when it gets here. Now, while measuring your sleeve length, that bone that we use to measure the back, that is where it starts from. When you measure from here to somewhere around here, depending on the length you and your client discuss, that is around the biceps, three quarter length, which is somewhere around here, or elbow length. The length always depends on you and your client, or wrist length, wherever you and your client discuss. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've been able to learn how to measure your clients properly and stop making mistakes that you've been making in the past. See you in our next video. Bye.